Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to our Q3 Money Call. Happy to have you with us, whether it's just at noon in your world or still morning, or good afternoon. We're thrilled to have you on board. So this is what we call our Q3 Money Call. We do these every quarter. These are exclusive to our Jim Doyle and Associates contracted partners. So if you are not a full contracted partner, you should not be on this webinar. You want to make sure that these are exclusive for our contracted partners. I'm Tom Ray, the Vice President of Jim Doyle and Associates, and got a couple of guests with me today. Perry Kapeloff. Good afternoon, Perry.
Hey, Tom. Great to be here. Looking forward to this. It's going to be a lot of fun.
It is going to be a lot of fun. Thanks for joining us. And we've got Jim Stews. Jim, is it afternoon or still morning where you are?
You know what? It's 10:30. So, well, it's 11 now, but it was 10:30 when we started working on it. So, yeah.
Oh, good.
It's all good. How you doing?
Yeah, good. We're doing great. Thanks, guys, for joining us. We're going to jump right into some leads here. That's the whole purpose of today. I've got a few special guests waiting in the wings, but we'll hold off on getting to them. The concept here is simply rapid fire, take them to the streets leads. We've got all of our contracted partners from around the country joining us. We're going to share some category insights, some success stories, creative ideas, all to help you advance your sales efforts. So let's get right into it. I know Jim Stews has a wonderful story to share with us right out of the blocks. Jim, tell us about Butte County Mosquito and Vector Control District.
All right, so this is one that happened just within the last month, but we've all heard that, we've talked about it many times, that mosquitoes is a big deal. We've heard of franchises called Mosquito Joe and so on, but a good buddy of mine named Chad in Chico, California, got an appointment with the Butte County Mosquito and Vector Control. And here's what I want to let y'all know is in some areas across the country, there are local and state organizations who are in charge of bug bites and bug awareness. Their number one focus is mosquito prevention. Just as an example, in Chico, there is a huge population of West Nile virus. You probably have been bitten by it. You just don't know it. The other thing followed up by yellow jackets and ticks. So mosquito viruses are harmful, if not deadly, and all those scary things that we talk about, but everything is 100% preventable. And that's what they want to focus on, is making sure that the citizens of whatever market it is understand that you can prevent bug bites or mosquito bites for a lot of different ways. However, because they're using taxpayer dollars, in most cases, they will go out and spray places, but they don't want to do that. They really want to focus on awareness and prevention, but there's probably some county organization funded by taxpayers that is in charge of bug bite prevention. All right, let's see what's the next one there, Tommy. So just as an example, this one just happened. This client, for example, said, we've tried everything, billboards, radio, so on, nothing really works. Nobody knows we exist and all of that. And we came up with the campaign, and within the first couple of weeks, they knew right away. You can see the highlight there. The program you and Jim Stews presented was great. The outcome was even greater, and so on and so forth. So for us, total awesomeness. That goes back to my buddy Chad. But you can go and find these people in markets just like yours. I bet they exist.
Shall we see the spot?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Mosquito-transmitted diseases are an annual risk. Every year, many residents are infected with West Nile virus. Butte County is a haven for mosquitoes and West Nile virus, one of the most dangerous places to live in California. The good news is you can fight the bite with 3 easy steps. Eliminate all standing water from your property. Check for properly installed windows and door screens, and use a CDC-approved repellent. Stay safe out there. For more information, visit buttmosquito.com.
Very cool. So,
right,
Jim, if I'm an AE in any other market, how would I find somebody to talk to about a campaign like this?
The first thing I would do is I would go to Google and I would either search by mosquito prevention and then type in the county that you're in or the state that you're in, and that'll be the quickest way to kind of guide you towards where the fund is. But since it's a funded organization that's run by the government, it might be layers and somebody's running the office out of a basement building or something, but they exist. I'm certain that they exist for you. So if they're too far into the season where they've spent their money already. The next thing that's coming up this fall is tick bites, and then you want to get them ready again for next year. So there's no time better to call on a new prospect in that category than right now.
Excellent. Great lead. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yep.
Let's move on here. Hey, Perry, you shared a great idea. I can't wait for everyone to see it. Don't get drilled. Tell me about this guy.
Yeah, this guy is not a dentist, even though he has the same weaponry that many dentists use, that old drill. This is in Lafayette, Indiana. I called on several different HVAC people, and everybody made fun of this person's ad. Take a look at it, Tom.
Here we go.
Greg Yoder from Yoder High Tech Heating and Cooling. Don't get drilled. Did you think that they were going to sell you a furnace for next to nothing? Then they get into your home and tell you don't qualify, it's too small? You got drilled. Or was it they tried to rope you into a $5,000 to $8,000 furnace and air system, and out of the generosity of their heart, they're going to clean your ducts for free? What do they think? You're brain dead? If you want drilled, call them. If not, give us a call.
You know, everybody in the market made fun of his ads. Who's the leader in the market? The drill man.
So when you were in that market calling against his competition,
yeah,
they were all telling you the guy runs these terrible ads, right?
They run terrible ads. Look how hokey those things are. And then he pulls out the drill, and I said, man, talk about not getting drilled. He's drilling all you guys. And
No
he's
kidding.
Just so consistent with the messaging. And it's just another way to drill down to that final one thing, right?
Yeah, there we go. Well, it's great symbolism. You know, I'm sure after the campaign has been running enough in that market that you can't hear the sound of a drill without making the connection. You got drilled. It reminds me a lot of the Coleman Liquidators mobile home, you know, just in your face style of creative. So just very memorable, very simple. I love it, Perry. Thank you.
Really right to the point, fast.
Yeah, no kidding. So let's stay in that, you know, this is a huge category for us, HVAC. And, you know, that was one way of positioning, you know, attacking the competition as, you know, kind of you got drilled. I want to share an idea that I came across recently in the heating and cooling category. Now, I'm not a big fan when it comes to HVAC advertising of advertising things like your gold package or maintenance or prevention. I always believe that the only time anyone ever calls a heating and cooling company is
when they need you.
Broken. Yeah, when my heat won't kick on or my air conditioning won't kick on. So in my mind, to run an ad that says buy our gold package and, you know, make sure that these things don't happen to you, I think that kind of falls on deaf ears. I'm not about to, you know, I'm not going to purchase a solution to a problem I don't have yet. But I came across this ad recently. This was out of the Tampa market. This is a HVAC company called Air Rescue, and they do the $79 total system rejuvenation. So you can see on the screen are the details. For $79, you get a 51-point total system rejuvenation. So now they're making it tangible. The deal includes 2 pounds of refrigerant and duct sanitation, which is $189 value. So right away, you're getting more than what you're paying in the $79 upfront fee. What really caught my attention was the no-risk 100% guarantee on your money back. And you hear us talk all the time that sales is nothing more than a process of reducing risk. Well, they take all the risk away. If you don't save at least $79 on your electric bill over the next 6 months, we'll refund your $79. Or if your system breaks in the next 6 months and we have to come out and fix it, we'll refund your $79. It was a great ad. What I'm going to do is show you this concept. And I don't have the ad that I saw this week, but this is how they positioned it about 3 years ago. Take a look.
Why wait for an air conditioning emergency? 93% of all AC breakdowns could be prevented. Call Air Rescue to the rescue. This week, get Air Rescue's total system rejuvenation, much more than a tune-up, for only $79. And if your unit breaks down within 6 months, or if your utility bills aren't lower, the service is free.
The air feels fresher, and our power bill went down. I love it.
Call Air Rescue now at 1-888-NEVER-WAIT, 1-888-NEVER-WAIT, or visit us now at airrescue.com.
So that was from a couple of years ago. Nice ad. I think they've really even improved on it. Now they call the domain is what was the domain? airrescue79.com. So I think that's an improvement to draw attention to the $79 deal. Great campaign, a couple of great ideas for the heating and cooling category. Perry, what's going on here? Who wants a pile of topsoil in their driveway?
Right. You know, I met this gentleman out in the Kansas City market, Tom, and I said, man, you got to get on Shark Tank with this invention he has. So how many times have you had a load of topsoil or mulch or whatever dropped off to your house? You order it from the local greenery or wherever, and they put it in your driveway. And, you use about 80% of it, and the rest is just kind of sitting there. I have some from a couple of years ago, and it's still sitting there. Eventually it will move. Hopefully the water will wash it away or something. So this gentleman came up with something so unique. He's got the patent on it. It's called the Power Wheelbarrow. Let's watch this.
Here we go.
Getting topsoil can be a real pain. Not with American Topsoil's exclusive Power Wheelbarrow service. You'll only pay for what you use, and we'll put the topsoil exactly where you need it. Call this morning. We'll deliver your topsoil today.
I mean, how much basic is that? And no more, we've all been there. I got that pile. Now I got to go carry it over to the trees where I want it. No more back pain. And he had that, hey, if I call you this morning, I can get it today? Yeah, and I'll put it wherever you want it. So very unique. And the other advice I gave to him was get in touch with the patent attorney immediately because you're on to something here.
Well, and I thought about that before including this ad saying, okay, well, if he's got the patent, is he the only one that has this power wheelbarrow? And the answer is absolutely not. I Googled it. They make these things. And so my whole point is, and thank you for the lead, Perry, in a category that's kind of boring, topsoil or mulch delivery, here's someone who found their unique differentiator, focused on it. And I think this resonates with the consumer. And you may be able to find this type of business in your market that has that piece of equipment, and maybe they've never even thought of it as a differentiator that they could focus on.
Custom delivery is huge. I mean, we're all lazy. Put it where I want it.
Exactly. Love it. Love it. Thank you, Perry. All right, we're going to go back to Jim Stews, who's got some ideas on managed IT services. This is a category, Jim, that we are seeing more and more of, aren't we?
Yeah, I've called on too just in the last couple of months with all the things that's going on in the world with security. What we're learning is many small businesses just don't have adequate security in place. They always have a guy, and we would always say that guy is fixing computers with chicken wire and duct tape is what we'll always say. But many companies have outdated, old, in some cases, illegally downloaded software. So that was the whole issue with the WannaCry, was big companies had illegally downloaded software that didn't automatically download for the Microsoft patch, and that's how they got hammered. So there is a big need for a small business. They call them machines. So an IT company is really looking for a business that has between 25 to 150 machines or employees, depending on your point of view. But they want to provide that 24/7 technical support. They want to be the IT department for that small company. The thing is that these managed IT companies are very digital savvy. They know IT. They have no idea what they're doing for marketing. So it is a hot prospect. They don't understand it. And when we come and talk to them about the marketing fundamentals that we all preach, they're surprised. And it's an easy way for them to start to scoop up business. So go ahead and let's see what the next slide is.
Yeah, we got a couple of examples here, I think. Oh, no, I'm sorry.
Here we go. So
walk us through this. Yeah.
We usually can get the business owner to pay attention by using fear. And the three things that we're familiar with now is WannaCry, ransomware, malware. All of those things were issues that a small business owner 5 years ago did not have to worry about. It's an everyday issue today. So that's a place to start getting their attention, and those things will cut through the clutter in the messaging. You go to the next slide there.
When your business computers go down and your employees can't work, bottom line, you're losing money. When a disaster hits and your systems go down, you lose money. LG Networks specializes in 24/7 IT support at a fraction of the cost of traditional IT solutions or departments. LG Networks offers local help desk and managed services with unlimited remote and on-site support. Keep your business in business. Go online to mynewitstaff.com for more information.
So just a great example, you know, it'll cost a business owner $60,000 to $80,000 to keep a technical guy on staff, and that's certainly not what you would be paying a managed IT company to do it for you. So it makes a lot of sense for them, and I think we have one more example there.
Yeah, I love the domain, mynewitstaff.com. That's the whole idea, is you want to replace that guy on your team that, you know, that you're paying 60 to 80 grand and pay us a fraction of that, and we know more than he does.
That's right.
All right, let's take a look at the next one.
I'm Dave Jones. I'm CEO of Mountain Valley Health Centers. So proactive IT services are vital to the success and vitality of my company. I hire Apex to do all of the software, hardware, voice over IP. When we brought on Apex, they had a lot more expertise than I'd had in-house. I had a couple of IT folks in-house, and although they were good, they didn't have the background that Apex has. I would rate Apex's services an 11.
Pretty good rating.
Great.
I use that one just for all you Spinal Tap fans. On 1 to 10, it's an 11.
Yeah,
so
it's an 11. It's on 11.
The other reason why I put that one in there, sometimes this category is too technical. That's the business they're in. So they want to talk about all this mumbo jumbo that half of the people don't understand. And Bob at Bob's Plumbing just wants to know if you can fix it. What they will understand is a current customer talking about how happy they are. So the easiest thing to do is just run a testimonial campaign and have the client talk about how good they are and the peace of mind they have, and you'll be in good shape.
Yeah, I love it. Good stuff. So
All right,
share this with us.
This is my scare tactic ad, and I'll just read it real quick. But this one, if you want to shake up the market, and if you have an IT person that is edgy, this is the way to go at it. But it's WannaCry, ransomware, malware. Just a few short years ago, business owners didn't have to worry about these things. In today's world, these things can keep you up at night. At Strategy, our goal is to help our clients stop these attacks before they occur. We provide support and planning to help your businesses grow and stay protected. With over 400 satisfied clients, isn't it time to have someone on your side? Strategy, strategic technology and support for business.
Love
there
it.
you go. Short and sweet and simple.
Yes, fear, fear, fear. Good stuff. Cool. Thank you, Jim.
Yes, sir.
You know what? I think we have a special guest that's ready to join us. Phil Bernstein, are you there?
Hey, Tom, here's an idea for people who are dealing with a prospect who either does not want to advertise on television or has somebody at the corporate level that won't let them do their own thing. It won't work every time. In fact, I'm going to tell you about a time when it didn't work, but it is sometimes a way to get around an objection from somebody who doesn't want to be seen as doing quote-unquote advertising. This is a story that goes back to 2013 when I met with some Wells Fargo financial advisors in Harrisonburg, Virginia, the local firm of Lance & Gochenauer. This was with WHSV, and at the time they wanted to advertise on TV, but Wells Fargo is very, very tight on their brand and would not let them do any advertising locally. Everything had to come through the national office. So the folks at WHSV came up with a great idea. They established a new feature on their local news called Stocks of Local Interest. And the folks at Lance & Gochenauer got to introduce it. I'm going to play you one example and then tell you about what happened next. So here's the example.
Hello, I'm Hugh Lance, Managing Director of Investments with the Lance & Gochenauer Investment Group of Wells Fargo Advisors. And here are your stocks of local interest for Tuesday.
Hugh Lance later told me that he is often stopped on the street by people who think he has just come from the WHSV news set. In fact, those introductions are all pre-recorded. He did one for Monday, one for Tuesday, one for Wednesday, etc. But it gives them local credibility as a local expert, and it doesn't look like advertising. They have since left Wells Fargo. They're now with Janney Montgomery Scott, but they are still doing the same feature on WHSV. Here is one from 2017.
Good evening. I'm Hugh Lance, Executive Vice President with the Lance & Gokenhour Investment Group of Janney Montgomery Scott. And here are your stocks of local interest for Wednesday.
So we have managed to get this approved by the corporate folks at Wells Fargo and by the corporate folks at Janney Montgomery Scott. As they say in the investment business, past performance is no guarantee of future return, but it's definitely worth a shot there. And I promised I would tell you about one time it didn't work. It didn't work with Edward Jones. A few weeks back, I presented it to an Edward Jones financial advisor in Indiana. He loved the idea. He fought it up 3 levels of the corporate ladder, and all 3 turned it down. He says he's going to try again in 2018 and see if he can get it through then. I also recently took the idea and I adapted it for a farm implement dealer in Northwest Missouri. A guy who has never really been interested in advertising on television was intrigued with the idea of being the introducer and the sponsor of the Farm Market Report. This is going to be a report giving crop and livestock prices in a rural community. Unfortunately, his advertising budget has been spent for 2017 already, so the plan is he's going to get this going at the beginning of 2018. So, financial advisors, farm implement dealers, anyone who is interested in being on the air but not necessarily in traditional television advertising could be a candidate. That is it. Back over to you, Tom.
Thank you very much, Phil. I appreciate that. It's kind of like the original native advertising, right? I have a lead that I want to share with everyone on the call, and many of you have probably heard us talk about this idea, but you know what? If you're not thinking about the holidays yet, and you might not be, we're in the middle of August here, this is probably a good reminder. Senior living is a big category for us, and you've heard me talk about what I always refer to as the triggers in senior living. What are the triggers to making those adult children who make the decision for senior living come in and take a tour? And the triggers are things like a slip and fall, a doctor referral, the death of a parent. One of the triggers, and you've heard me talk about this, is the holidays. And I talk about how, kids get together and they talk about what they're seeing, the adult children talk about what they're seeing out of their parents at that given point. And that is a trigger. So I just wanted, as a point of reminder, to share with everyone the creative, the original idea anyway, from a few years ago in Knoxville, Tennessee. And as a reminder that if you have a senior living client or prospect and you're looking for an idea to take them now, because really the idea is this should be prepared and ready to go for mid-November, so that when those family gatherings are happening, starting Thanksgiving night, and going straight through the holiday season, this campaign is already running to generate the connection. Let's take a look.
At the holidays, I noticed some dramatic changes. Mom had lost weight, the house wasn't taken care of. I decided to get Mom some help in her own home. I called Priority Healthcare Services. They provide caring companionship, medication reminders, even run errands and prepare meals. And best of all, Mom gets to stay in her home.
A few hours a day makes all the difference. Call us at 584-4010.
I did it for Mom, and I did it for me.
So, not the greatest piece of creative, by the way, guys. It's a great creative idea. It's a great trigger. Frankly, if you're going to use this idea, it's got to be a 55-plus female who's making the statement. She's the decision maker. It always rests on the oldest daughter's shoulders. So I would replace the male in that with the female. Great line at the end, though, if you can capture it sincerely, where the adult child says, I did it for mom. I did it for me. And really, that's one of the motivators as well, as a 55, 60, 65-year-old adult child who's got to take care of an 85-year-old parent. It's just as much, you make these decisions just as much to give you peace of mind in life as you do for your aging parents. So I thought I would reconnect everyone with that idea, and the time to start presenting that or teeing it up is right now. So we're going to stay in the world of senior living, and Jim, you've got some ideas on mobility.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we know, the boomer, as they age, and targeting businesses that are going after the aging boomer is a great business strategy. And one of the business categories is the in-home care products, and mobility scooters is right on top of that list. And if you're talking to an in-home care facility where they're selling the products like the lift chairs, the scooters, and so on, really the point of entry is the scooter. You don't laundry list services. They don't care if you have canes and if you have this and that and all of those things. As we always talk about, one thing. But in there, you're going to find a handful of products that just keep that aging person going. And there's a product out there called Pride. The scooter is called Go-Go, and it's at a price point where it's affordable enough that the son or daughter will come in and just pay cash and not have to go through Medicare in order to go through the funding. And that's why they like it. That's where, as we all know, in this industry, a lot of Medicare payments have changed. So it's easier for them to just come in, buy it from mom, see if she likes it because it's at a certain price point that's affordable, and off they go. So they love to have those cash clients come in. So go ahead and see what our next slide is there.
I'm riding with pride, riding on my go-go. Watch me glide everywhere I go. I'm getting around, I'm riding on my go-go. All over town, I'm riding in style and feeling so right. It's easy to take and it's all so light. Everywhere I go, I'm riding on my go-go.
So if I can go to a home medical supply company and walk on their floor and see a Pride Go-Go product, I know I'm in great shape. So that'd be the first thing to do, is just search for Go-Go in the home medical category. But you know what, Tom? The jingle that the corporate has, I would use it every time because it's memorable, but it kind of reminds me of something.
Yeah, it sounded very familiar.
Doesn't it?
Before you go, 'cause I'm not planning on going solo. Wake me up.
All right.
Yeah, there you go.
Calm down, guys. Calm down.
Oh, God. Yeah, that is so my era. As a product of the 80s, that's right in my wheelhouse. Hey, is there co-op from Pride?
There is co-op, and that's the other part of it. Thanks, Tom. Is normally the business owner doesn't know that he has all co-op and hasn't probably used it, and because it just really didn't know that was a product to market because they're talking about other things. So yeah, you probably could walk into a place where they have co-op to spend. You have a jingle ready to go, and you can thank me later. Late 3 hours from now, you'll still be thinking of Wham, but that's how it goes. The other thing is,
a related one to this is the stair lift as well. Same type of store would sell this. It's the elevator, if you will, that goes along the staircase in people's houses, and they're kind of related, and there's co-op money there as well.
They're totally related, Perry, and that's why I call it a trifecta. So it's the mobility scooter, the lift chair, and then the other one is the stair lift. So the other part to look at is the chair lift that we have on screen. And if you have a midday news, and if they don't have a lot of money to spend, just run the commercial in the midday news and you're going to sell piles of them. This market is growing so much that you could go call on a furniture store and have the furniture store advertise lift chairs in your new news, and they would see increased sales. A lot of cases, a home medical company will have 8 to 9 of them. Even I've walked into places that have had 20 of these lift chairs on the floor. And as we all know, what sells furniture? Collection. And they can also be custom made. So that's just things to keep in mind. If they don't want to go the go-go route, they could go the lift chair route. And I think we have an example, Tom.
Yeah, let's take a look.
Pride lift chairs offer comfort, quality, and style. They make it easy to sit or stand with just the push of a button. Constructed of only the highest grade materials, Pride lift chairs deliver years of worry-free operation. Pride lift chairs come in many sizes and eye-catching styles that are sure to complement any decor. Plus, they come in a variety of fabrics, including stain-resistant Krypton fabrics. So call us today to get your Pride lift chair.
Same company, Pride. They have the co-op. A lot of times the business owner just has not spent it. And then finally, it's the stair lift idea. And so what we all know is, Tom talked about it earlier, but slips and falls. But when accidents happen in the home, especially if you're over the age of 80, that is bad news. And so sons and daughters freak out. One of the things to make sure that mom, if she doesn't want to move out of the house and the house has stairs, you only have one option, which is to go to your home medical supply company and put in a stair lift, as Perry mentioned. So falls are a big deal. It's 25% of all hospital admissions. And then the next example is a client that I helped with almost 3 years ago now. And they were trying to get away from delivering oxygen, because here again, Medicare has cut oxygen payments from $240 per delivery to $140, so it's cut their bottom line. So we talked them into going this direction.
Let's take a look.
Did you know that walking up and down the stairs is one of the leading causes of falls? Installing a stair lift from Dick's Home Care relieves the concern about home safety. It's a low-cost alternative to adding to the first floor or moving to an assisted living facility. You can also make your porch or deck accessible with a vertical platform lift. It holds up to 750 pounds. So don't move, call Dick's Home Care, Central Pennsylvania's leader in home medical equipment.
Yeah, aging in place, right?
There you go. You're set up. You go call in a home medical supply company. You've got 3 different ways to talk to them. I recently worked with my friends in Redding, California. This situation played out. We walked in, went back for a presentation, asked for a significant amount per month, and they signed on the spot. So this category, they're looking for solutions. They've been spending money in the newspaper. It's not working like it used to. Here we come.
Excellent. Good stuff. Thank you.
Yep.
We just talked about, a holiday idea here in warm and hot August. And I want to continue with that theme. Perry, I know you really have great insight and intel into this category. You handle a very big ski mountain in your market, correct?
Yeah, that's right. Back here in New England, Wachusett Mountain, 5th busiest here in New England. We've got some different challenges, though. We're what's known as a southern mountain. So we're not up in New Hampshire, Maine, or Vermont, where they tend to get a little more snow than we might here in central New England. So oftentimes our messaging, we take over television in the Boston and Providence, Rhode Island market. And there's always a call to action. And we have a variety of different ways that we will tell people, hey, you come to us. If there's snow in your backyard, if you don't have snow in your backyard, we do have snow in ours. And a variety of different ways that we bring that in. And, the key to the ski industry, no matter where, if you're out west or back east here or in Michigan and Minnesota, where some of the other mountains are, is there one in Sarasota, Tom?
No, they don't have one in Sarasota yet.
No ski mountains down in Sarasota, right. So here's the thing. How many people in the United States actually ski or snowboard? What would you guess? What percentage?
Across the U.S., 9%.
The answer is 5%. So the one thing any ski area want is a new customer, right? So January in the ski industry is usually known across the country as Learn to Turn. Learn to Turn is let's introduce new people to skiing. Last year, the industry, the first Friday of January, we did the world's largest ski lesson. We had over 135,000 skiers try it across the country. Now, this year, the organization's not going to do it, but the month will remain Learn to Ski. Locally here, we're going to have the biggest ski lesson in New England on that particular Friday. So that's an idea that you can bring out to somebody, any ski area. They want new skiers, come up with the biggest ski lesson of the day, and aim everything at that one particular day. One of the campaigns that we've had great success with is what we call Bring a Friend, or BFF. And what it is an experienced skier who comes, and then they bring somebody like yourself, maybe Tom, who's not skiing down in Sarasota, but they want to learn how. We have a great call to action, a lower price for the experienced skier for his lift, and while they're out skiing, the friend is learning how to ski. Again, we have a snow guarantee. If you don't like it, the conditions in an hour, you can go home, we'll refund your money, or invite you back for a later visit later in the season. So there's many ways that you can take advantage of it. You know, we typically will have, 400,000 or 500,000 different visitors. So it's almost like having a minor league team in a 10-week window here in New England. Now out west, of course, that window is much wider. So there's a lot of people out there. And what I've seen work really well for stations is one of the things that the mountain likes to do is we love to give away promotional lift passes, or we do trade as well in addition to spending cash. One idea that's worked really well is you tie in, get some promotional tickets, and you tie in one of your big car dealers or truck dealers or whoever it might be locally. They could test drive throughout January. Anybody who takes a test drive gets a pair of passes up to the mountain. So you're taking money from us, we're getting the passes, and then you're selling a promotion. The last 3 or 4 winters, we've had big hits with Jeep dealers. We had a Toyota dealer last year, a GMC truck dealer. So there's different places you can take the passes and almost create a whole new budget for your auto dealer as well, and get them involved with something that's outdoors. We had a local Fox affiliate. They don't have a national talk show. Today, Good Morning America, CBS this morning. They actually come out. They do a live broadcast for 4 hours, one day in the winter. And they tie in a bunch of different vendors. We get a lot of exposure. They get a lot of money from different vendors and us. So different ways to take advantage, get people out, and we're big on weather sponsorship.
And the bottom line
is weather. I'm sorry?
The bottom line, Perry, is those conversations are happening right now, correct?
Our meetings are next week. If we're looking towards the winter time, don't come see me in November. Everything is done. We'll have everything locked down by the middle of September. This is the time to get out there, and these are some great ideas that the mountains are looking for. They want new skiers, and any way you can bring new skiers to the sport, they're going to be happy about it.
And I loved when you shared with us, I believe it was last year, the ski for an hour, and if you don't like the conditions, we'll give you a pass to come back in another day. And you said the cool thing is once somebody's hit the slopes, they're skiing. They're not coming. They're not going to say, all right, this is no good, I'll come back, correct?
That's right. I mean, it goes back to making that outrageous offers, Tom, that we talk about a lot with Abbey floor coverings, right? How many floor, you don't like it, I'll give you a new floor, right? Once they're out there skiing, they're in the outdoors, they're loving it, they're not going to do it. But it's a great offer. I would say that comes up maybe a couple times in winter time that actually somebody's going to come back and take advantage of that. Strong call to action, though.
Yeah, good stuff.
We got some great creative, too. We're big television users. We'd run as little as 5-second commercials because we have one of the most powerful jingles here in New England. But we run a lot of bookends. I think we've got an example to show.
Yep, let's take a look.
If you ski or ride, you already know how much fun it is.
So why not share it with a friend this winter?
Yeah.
Check out our BFF package.
Let's bring a friend for fun.
It includes a lift ticket for you and a lift lesson and rental for your friend.
If you really like your friend, bring them up here so they can learn how to ski or ride.
Very comfortable.
Very nice. Those are the owners, and we're now starting to incorporate some of their kids into it, and very successful. Strong calls to action, get new skiers in there, and there's plenty of money to be had. But you're right, Tom. This is the time to make those calls. Don't wait until, I saw a snow flurry. I know, we're all done already at that point.
Good stuff. All right, thank you, Perry. I wanted to share, again, I guess I'm king of the repeats here, another idea that we've talked about with everybody on this call. You've heard us talk ad nauseum about call this morning, we will see you today. It is so powerful, and we originally discovered the idea with a chiropractor. We've taken it to dentists and pain clinics in the healthcare side. Speed, speed, speed. We've introduced it to things like heating and cooling. Your air conditioning is broken. Call this morning. We'll be there today. Plumbing. Well, I was in West Virginia recently and met with a wonderful account executive, Nathan, who couldn't wait to tell me his success story with this concept. Called this morning. I will see you today. He said, Tom, I did it with an audiologist. And it just really struck me, audiologist. It takes 7 years to get somebody to go for a hearing test. From the really from the point of they know they should do it. I mean, there couldn't be a much bigger sales cycle category than audiology. So why all of a sudden would Call this morning, we'll see you today, and urgency work in that category? And he shared this campaign with me. I want to show it to you.
Hearing and balance are extremely important to everyday life. When you're not hearing well or are dizzy, you don't want to wait for an appointment. That's why at Appalachian Hearing and Balance, if you call us this morning, we'll see you today. Don't wait weeks for an appointment. Call us this morning and we'll see you today. We've helped thousands of people over the past few years with hearing loss and dizziness at both our Bluefield and Welch clinics. For more information, call us or find us on the web at mountaineers.com.
So again, in a category, I would never think to use Call This Morning, We'll See You Today in this category, but Nathan shared this with me, and it is so extremely successful. He also shared another piece of creative from this client that kind of takes a different approach to hearing tests that I was not aware of, and that is workers' compensation. Take a look.
Earl worked as a coal miner around noisy equipment and lost most of his hearing. He couldn't hear a word his wife said, and they were both frustrated. At Appalachian Hearing and Balance, we diagnose and treat guys like Earl every day. Hearing loss is covered by workers' compensation. We helped Earl file and receive workers' compensation for his hearing loss, covering the cost of his hearing aids and doctor's visits. We can help you too. Call us this morning. We will see you today.
So I wasn't aware that that there's some workers' comp insurance that might cover it. So maybe at an angle you can take to your audiologist. Just a couple of great pieces created from a great account executive in West Virginia, Nathan. And the killer line that Nathan shared with me is his client told him this. After this campaign had been running for a period of time, the client said, you know what, Nathan, you've advanced my retirement by 10 years. And if that doesn't speak volumes, I don't know what does. All right. Hey, I think it's time for another special guest, guys. Let's take a break because I think J-Mac is with us. J-Mac, are you there? There you are.
Hello, Tom. J-Mac here from Southern California. You know, the lovely place that has one-bedroom houses for $1 million, and if you want to sell it, a real estate commission of 6%. Or $60,000. So what people out here are thinking is, why pay that huge commission? You know, there's all these new apps out like Zillow and Redfin and Realtor.com where you can really go search your own real estate proposition and make your own deal. And so folks are using this more and more. So what I'm hearing out here, and the real estate agents are a little bit nervous because people are doing it in record numbers right now. So there's an attorney out here, Dan McGee, who wants to position himself as Dan the Transaction Man. And he wants to go right after that possible little niche and say, look, I will help you negotiate and I will help you close the same real estate contract. You find it on Redfin or Zillow or 50 other free apps. I'll negotiate and I'll close it for you for a fraction of the $60,000. Maybe he'll take 8 to 10, depends on the price of the house. But there's a huge niche here, and he's getting ready to consider a big launch of Dan the Transaction Man in California real estate. Let's see what happens out here, because I bet it's coming to a market near you. For those folks watching, you may want to find a real estate person out there to help you maybe consider something like this too. So why pay this exorbitant real estate commission out there? So there you go. Hope things are going well. Adios, J-Mac from Southern California. Cheers.
All right, J-Mac. Thank you. All right, cool. damn the transaction man, cut out the real estate agent. Why not, right? Take that idea to an attorney. I think we've got another guest. This is John Hillary. Hey, John, what's going on?
Thanks, Tom. Hi to everyone out there. Hope everyone is doing well. I want to take a brief moment here today to discuss a category we're all familiar with, assisted living communities. But more particularly, I found a niche this year, a little alternative to an assisted living community that I want to get into. But real briefly, I've been to 5 different markets this year, and I have met with 10 different assisted living type communities, whether that would be hospice care or something like an in-home care or your full-blown nursing home, but 10 different companies I've met with in 5 different markets. And real briefly, a hello to everyone in the markets I've worked with this year. Hope everyone is doing well. But it's been a really big category for me. But in particular, there was an alternative to an assisted living community, a place called Homesteads up in upstate New York. If you get a chance, Google it. A very unique concept where it's family-type homes for adults. So instead of putting your mother and your father, and as we know, these are these women from 40 to 60 years of age that are making these decisions typically about mom and dad and where we're going to put them. It's a great alternative to that assisted living. They have up to 6 beds in each home. This woman had bought and purchased 4 beautiful old homes that were built in probably the late 1800s for all these different residents, and they offer 100% certified qualified care. And what's more is that they have 4 caregivers to 1 resident, that 4-to-1 ratio that separates them from everyone else. And the other thing that separates them from everyone else is the fact that mom and dad can still be in an actual home. They don't have to be in a big facility. They can come down and cook a meal for the entire house. They can put on music for the entire house. Most of these residents have gorgeous backyards with koi ponds, and it really just felt like home. And that was our positioning statement when we put their campaign together. You can imagine who their competition is. There's plenty of people out there. But what I found really interesting was Homesteads used a place for mom for leads. They had tried newspaper, they had tried radio, they had never been on broadcast TV before, and that's why we were meeting with them. But they used a place for mom with leads, and it really wasn't living up to their expectations, and here's why. A place for mom was charging 110% per lead. So to be a resident at Homesteads, it would cost you $4,000 a month, $48,000 a year, which is already below the industry average. A place for mom was taking 110% of that monthly cost. You can do the math. What Homesteads received in 2016 ultimately was 5 leads, and that's it. They had a lot of calls, a lot of place for mom, that they had to weed through from different leads, but they only received 5 total residents in 1 calendar year. That cost them north of $20,000. So we went in, we presented the case that they already had their huge point of difference. That was self-explanatory. But the fact that spending $20,000 for 5 leads, we were more than confident that we could do that and more long-term for them so they could maintain their max occupancy throughout the course of the year. And they were looking to build another home and another facility to increase. So I'm happy to say that was a success. Much to the work of the people that I worked with up there in upstate New York. But it was a great little niche within a category that's been huge for me this year. Look around for it in the markets that you're in. I've already talked to a couple of my colleagues. They've heard of this in a couple different cities, so they're out there. Again, family-type homes for adults. Hopefully this helps, and happy selling. Feel free to reach out to me if you've had any other questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you, John. Appreciate that. All right, we're going to wrap up our conversation on holidays, and Jim Stews brought this up when we were talking about this call yesterday. Quick opportunity, Jim? Halloween?
It is, absolutely. First of all, I need to pause for a minute. Man, I wish I had John Hillary's hair. Holy cow.
No kidding.
Just kidding. All right. So Halloween is big business. We all know it, much like Perry's deal when it comes to talking to ski resorts. You have to talk to the Halloween place now. NBC News reports it's $300 million a year. You can see all the statistics. You can read an article about it on Forbes.com. But Halloween is a lot of different categories. So certainly, yes, haunted houses, haunted farms, haunted hayrack rides, all those good things. it's probably the only one time where the local costume shop, who should be advertising, never advertises. This is the one time to get them on the air, not to mention candy stores. And then you see those temporary retail stores that will show up in malls. There you go, Tommy. That's a great place. The manager there, in many cases, has money to spend. You'll start to see them outfitting their stores months in advance. But a lot of times this is a $5,000 to $10,000 to $15,000 pop. And hey, if anybody needs to make a little extra money and put a little commissions in your pocket, go do some prospecting and start calling on Halloween.
I love it. Cash in advance.
Amen, brother. Amen. Yep.
All right. So let's go from a quick hit opportunity in Halloween and talk a little bit more long term. And I know David Melville is standing by with a real interesting opportunity when it comes to grant money. David, are you there?
Thanks, Tom. I'm going to share with you non-traditional dollars that are big money. A little bit tougher to get, but once you get them, easy to protect, easy to keep, and can be multi-year deals. And that is to tap into the $703 billion in grants that the feds give states every year. Now, we've discovered in our medium, TV and digital, that we can sell more than couches and cars, as they say. This is selling ideas, this is supporting programs, and obviously the whole $703 billion is not meant for just advertising and messaging, but a good chunk of it is. And we have been successful in the past getting tobacco dollars, abstinence education dollars, highway safety dollars, straight from the State House, money that was given by the feds. So I'm going to ask Matt to punch up a couple slides. Okay, there's the first one. There it is, $703 billion in federal grants for fiscal year 2018. Healthcare, transportation, income security, education, job training, et cetera, et cetera. Now, if you're going to find these dollars, community-based prevention is kind of the code word, if you will, to find out where the most messaging dollars are. The Affordable Health Care Act is running through 2019, and there's $100 billion, or was $100 billion earmarked in mandatory spending, and the messaging is in community-based prevention, including delinquency, academic failure, substance abuse. Tobacco is number one, but I promise you, if you start digging around for opportunities to talk about opioid education and driver distraction, there's money to be had. So here's just in a quick internet search, went to the state of Michigan in 2015, $123 million in health and community-based organizations, $63 million given to the state agencies, another 18 to local agencies, another $29 million for community-based prevention. And again, that's really where you want to look, is where are the community-based prevention dollars being spent? Because every initiative has a need for messaging, has a need for communicating. I went to Montana, I found the community-based programs, and they were listed, and they were listed by county, by geography, where the programs were. So, why do you want to do this? One is there's lots of money. Often multi-year deals. When you get these deals, they're not focused on cost per points and ratings and thousands. They're focused on outcomes. They keep track of the outcomes. And once you get the deal, you lock out the competition. What are the negatives to this big pot of gold? One is the longer sales cycle, and there's a great learning curve. But if you're the one that learns it and the others don't, there's a lot of potential, a lot of money here. So generally speaking, you will want to hire a grant writer. The first thing you want to do, find the money online. Just find out where is the money being granted this year in your state. The next thing I would do, I would meet with a legislator. Not necessarily a health department official, although we've been tipped by health department officials who said, there's this money just sitting there that nobody knows about that can be used for TV and radio. But I would meet with the legislator because they are the ones that are trying to push causes, have their pet projects, etc. And so I would meet with them and I would say, where are the grants in this state? and what are the ones that really need attention? Then I would get a grant writer, and then I would go for the money. It used to be, tobacco was the big one. Abstinence education, we locked up $60,000 a year for abstinence education. We didn't even need to produce anything. We purchased, with the grant money, we purchased a program that was developed in upstate New York called Not Me, Not Now, and we ran it in our market. We customized it for us, and it was a 3-year deal. Once we got the money, it ran for 3 years. Healthy eating, of course, but today the trend, especially under the Affordable Care Act, is access to healthy foods. Where's the messaging there? Opioid awareness obviously is a big one, and distracted driving is a big one. But there is big grant money, and there's a message behind every grant dollar that is allocated. So I think that's the first thing I would do. It's longer sales cycle, but I would become the expert, and I would go find myself a grant writer and somebody who knows how the money's flowing in your state. So good luck with that one.
Thank you, David. Appreciate it. Great lead. Thank you. We're going to move into our home stretch here now, guys. We're going to wrap this up pretty quickly. A couple of more quick ones for you. If you participated in our healthcare event last fall, you've heard us in the past talk about gastric balloon weight loss procedures. Here are the two biggies, Orbera and Reshape Ready. This is where they insert a balloon down into your stomach and they fill it up so that you always feel full and consequently eat less and lose weight. Well, earlier this week, I saw a news report on the Today Show, as a matter of fact, that 5 people have died while using these obesity devices that go down your throat and fill your stomach. They're saline-filled devices, as you saw there, Orbera and Reshape Ready. Ironically, 2 days later, I saw an ad for another opportunity called Obalon, Obalon. It's the same concept, but there are differences. This is, again, a down the throat, into the stomach balloon, but instead of 1 balloon, which is Orbera, or 2 balloons, which is Reshape Ready, Obalon uses 3 balloons. They are swallowable, so there's no sedation, no anesthesia, whereas the others are placed by endoscopy. They're put down, and you're knocked out a little bit as they insert them. The issue with the other devices is they use saline. Well, Obalon uses a gas, so they pump a gas into the balloon to expand it. This just received its FDA approval less than a year ago. I did some research. If you go to YouTube, it's Dr. Oz featured this very favorably. It's about a $6,000 to $9,000 procedure. If you go to obalon.com, Obalon, you can learn more. There is a Find a Doctor Locally tab, so you can find out who's doing this in your market. There's a $1,500 rebate that they're offering. So while the idea of inserting the balloon and extending it in your stomach has been beaten up a little bit lately, and by the way, of those 5 deaths, only 1 occurred in the United States, and that person had a heart issue, I believe. So relatively new and safe way, but here's the newest in the genre of balloons in the stomach for weight loss, Obalon. So check that out, brand new lead. The other last lead I want to share is kind of an update. In the last money call, we told you about the dangers of radon gas. Pat Norris gave us some great information. After last money call, Q2, an AE reached out to me and said, okay, I'd like to attack this lead. Do you have any thoughts on what kind of an email I could compose or letter I could send out? So here's what I wrote for him to use as a lead generator. Dear Radon Remediation Company, I was shocked to discover that my county is one of the highest potential counties in our state for radon levels. I shudder to think of my kids playing in our finished basement where radon levels may be unsafe. I'm sure if more local residents were aware, they'd do something about it. I have some ideas on how I'd like to share with you to discuss how we might help you deliver this important message. And I wrote that and I sent it off to this AE. The AE reported back to me that it absolutely helped gain appointments. I've shared it in other markets. I did get a nice note from an account executive in Minneapolis who used that exact same email and sent it to her remediation opportunities. She said, I called 7 companies, 5 called back, 2 set appointments. And so clearly that particular message that I was sharing clearly has been effective. So I wanted to reshare that with everybody and update you on the radon opportunity. Okay, last thing here is let's find out what's happening right now in the automotive category. It's been a pretty interesting year, and for that we're going to turn to our automotive expert, Pat Norris. Pat, what do you got?
In the last 90 days, I've been to over 5 different markets ranging from mid-size to top 10, and I've met with almost 20 auto dealers. Let me share with you that right now car sales are sucking wind. In 2016, when I'd asked car dealers and general managers, how's business? I got answers like, great, pacing ahead of last year, looks like another good year. However, this year when I pose the same question, I hear things like, it's slow. We're off 12% from last year. Our sales are crappy. After 7 record years of sales in a row, sales are down, and it looks like the SARS rate, which stands for Seasonally Adjusted Auto Rate of Sales, is tracking to be off by 5.6% from 2016. That's over 1 million fewer car sales. Last month in July, GM was down 15%, Ford down 7%, Chrysler down 9%, even Honda, Toyota, Kia, Hyundai, all down from 2016. Trucks and SUV sales remain fairly steady, but small and mid-sized cars are parked on dealer lots like flower pots withering in the sun. Rebates are getting bigger, production shifts are being cut, and dealers are feeling pain. And when dealers feel pain, they seek new solutions, and that often means looking at their marketing and advertising. In the dozens of auto dealer and general manager calls that I've had, the majority are questioning their spend in digital advertising. They realize that it's an overcrowded space with everyone buying the same key AdWords, the same SEO, SEM, and third-party lead sources. They're open to talking about TV again. We often discuss in these meetings that the CPM for premium digital display, like Cars.com, AutoTrader, CarGurus, has become 3 to 4 times more expensive than the CPM for TV. In fact, the only way to stand out in this crowded auto digital space is to be the lowball price leader, and none of them wants that. In fact, there's barely any gross margin in new cars today as is before discounts. I relate that in this fog of digital advertising, to stand out is with a compelling message on TV, driving prospects directly to the dealer's website versus a myriad of third-party lead providers. Leads that go directly to the dealer's website also convert at a higher rate, typically 10 or 12% better than their third-party lead vendors. And dealers know that. So that's the differentiator, an aggressive call to action message on TV coupled along with their digital, or as we've coined at Jim Doyle Associates, tradigital advertising. Look, forget trying to convert the dealer's spend on their SEO and SEM and instead take them your robust video platforms. Auto dealers don't see you as the digital experts. They have lots of those pushed on them by their manufacturers already. But instead they see you as their video expert, and look, that's where it's all going anyway, is video. So to sum it up, there's pain in the car business, and pain means there's gain if you have a solid plan of attack. Good selling.
All right, thank you, Pat. I appreciate it. Well, there you have it, guys. An hour full of great, actionable ideas. I can't thank Jim Stews and Perry Kapeloff enough. Thank you, gentlemen, for joining us today.
Thanks so much, D-Ray.
Yeah,
appreciate it. And to everyone on the call, just a quick reminder, as a contracted partner of Jim Doyle Associates, please do not forget to use us at helpme@jimdoyle.com if you need any help on any of the leads that you saw today, or through all of your day-to-day sales activities. We are always one email away, helpme@jimdoyle.com. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, and watch your inbox. We'll send out an announcement soon for Q4 Money Call coming up in November. Thank you. Great day.
Have a good day, everybody.
Hey, guys.
Like the content you've seen here? Simply subscribe to our YouTube channel and get updates on our next video releases. And be sure to check out other videos right here.